Dr. Carolyn Gilbreath. I'm with Saginaw Valley in the College of Education in the master's program in the Technology, Learning, Systems, and Design program. And I welcome you to this program and look forward to working with you.
Awesome. So my first question that came up from students is, how will classes be taught this semester especially, but I guess regularly, how are they taught?
Well, this program is, when I say a newer program to Saginaw Valley, it was about 2008 that we started this master's, and it was one of Saginaw Valley's first programs to offer courses online. In the beginning, we did some hybrid and some on ground, but mostly online. So business is not any different for the students in this program. We are 100% online. So when things changed for us in the spring, late winter, nothing changed for us. We continued on as we always did.
Awesome, that's great to hear. So classes will look the same. And for assignments, how will they be posted? Are they online?
Yes. Saginaw Valley has a learning management system. Canvas is what we use. And so everything always has been and still is in Canvas. You'll have weekly, just like you were coming to class every week. Every week there's new readings, new discussions with other students, new videos to watch, new things to read. So it's totally self-contained within the learning management system, Canvas, that Saginaw Valley has for their students.
Awesome. How many credits would you recommend a student take each semester?
Well, the program is 11 courses. There are 3 courses each. 10 are required, and then there's 1 elective, which means you get to choose from any graduate course, pretty much, that you would like. Most students take 2 winter, 2 fall, and then 1 spring, 1 summer, which really is double time because it's a 7-week course as opposed to a 15-week. So you could consider it even spring being 2. Some take 1. You get 7 years to finish the program once you start. Most people finish it within let's say 6 cycles. Like, okay, so if you was starting in the fall, you could take 2 classes, though you can start at any point. 2 in the winter, 1 spring, 1 summer, and then circle around again fall, winter, by spring. So within 2 full school years, you could be done. Now, some people just take 1, and that's okay too, because like I said, you get 7 years. So there's no hurry, though some people, because of their financial arrangements, they are required to take 2 classes. So that would just, you would have to know what your parameters are for taking classes and registering.
So that's, a student can start fall, winter, can kind of begin.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Perfect. And so how many, you said, maybe 1 class, maybe 2, but how many would you recommend a semester for an average student?
More people take 2 than not. But again, it's, if you have an urgency to finish this degree, then for sure 2. But if it doesn't matter, and you have a lot of other responsibilities, but 2 is it is doable. Some people, like football coaches, don't like to take classes in fall or just take 1 because during seasons they have extracurricular activities. So again, sometimes people, they need credits for getting it in for their school district for raises. So again, it just depends upon your needs.
Awesome. When looking at your program, what do you think is one of the most difficult aspects for a student?
I don't know that I would say difficult. Let's use the word different. In the end, there is what we would refer to as a capstone. And it's a part 1 and part 2. The point is you don't do it in 1 semester, it's over 2. And it is always fall, winter. And what I do at the beginning of that course, we start talking about the difference between a student-teacher relationship and a mentor-mentee. Because at this point, you are becoming your own director. So it's just different, not as much. When I say guidance, do this, do that, there's bigger pictures, and then you do things. Of course, I'm always available. I give students my cell phone number, and we text a lot. I keep very late hours, and students and I have conversations late into the evening, because I know that most students, I think all students pretty much, they're working. So their 9 to 5 is pretty limited. So it's different. But when the students come out of it at the other end, they're really proud of themselves in terms of learning what it really means to be a learner as opposed to, a student. And that's what we all need to be, actually, as lifelong learners.
Awesome. That's great that you're readily available and able to access you. I guess, so you are a resource in the program, but who else would you identify as a resource within the program or outside of the program?
Well, Dr. Kumar used to be in this program. She helped write it. She has since taken a new position. She works for the president's office, and she's in charge of professional development for the whole university. And so she teaches some of the classes, and she wrote them, actually. Like there's one of the classes that I teach now, it's instructional design. That was originally written by her. And then she's written some others that she teaches too.
Great. And then what strengths do you or other faculty in the program possess that might help students reach their full potential?
Just I've been in the degree field for a while. And so what I offer students are a lot of resources if they were to step out of the K-12 environment, and different places to look. Like, can I show some of the students who've graduated from our program? When she took the coursework, Michelle was teaching in a charter school in Flint, and decided that she wanted something different. And so she is her third year now. She got a position at Volkswagen of America. Amy Eno was teaching Spanish in a Catholic school in Saginaw. And after she finished the degree, she was able to get a job. She moved to Washington, D.C. She works for the International Firefighters of North America, and does training, part of a training team that trains firefighters in Canada, United States, and Mexico. This is Amy Green. She was in the Macomb area, I think kind of teaching in Montessori. She's head of Belle Isle now. Her title is Education Curator. Because if you think about it, everything in life is learning, and when people come to Belle Isle, they are coming to be educated about nature, animals. And so that's her role now, is head of Belle Isle. And the education, when people comes, like you've seen those kind of displays when you've gone to, where you look at snake skins and, different animal parts or body bones and that. So this is Tyler. He was teaching in Brown City, and is now with Huron Intermediate School District doing instructional technology for the teachers that are in the Huron Intermediate School District. So we would, taking this back to about resources, when through some of our classes, we look at, I talk about them as organizations, clubs, professional groups that are out there that can support you. And example one is called ATD, Association for Training and Development. They have, though it's an international group, they have local chapters. And there's one in Saginaw, the Tri-City one, there's one in Detroit, and there's one in Ann Arbor. And a lot of people in this field, if they aren't in the K-12 classroom, they even freelance. So you get to, by going to professional groups like this, network, learn of opportunities with other people who are also in the instructional design field.
Awesome, that's great.
Oh, I did want to tell you one more. This is Dustin Solomon. He was teaching in Caseville, and after he finished, you can see some of his let's see. Okay, here's Caseville. He was teaching in Caseville and got his graduate, his master's in this degree at Saginaw Valley. Because I know one of the questions you were asking is, should people go on for PhDs?
Mm-hmm.
You have, most people in this field don't have PhDs though, BAs or masters. So, you know, with a master's, you're well set in this degree, in this field. But Dustin went and he was working for the medical school at Wayne State, and then he finished up a PhD program, and he is currently head of like online teaching and that at Baker College. Some of our other people, a lot of them go into medical. Medical has big needs for training their people. And so a couple of the students, Lydia was with us quite a few years back, maybe even 10. She's in Flint now at Michigan State, the medical school there, working. And one of my other students, Kim, is with the Beaumont system. Her title is education specialist.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Because that was, you know, kind of my next question was actually, what employment opportunities do you see most people getting after graduation or even while they're studying? It sounds like pretty much every field everywhere needs someone.
Well, you know, this is, at this point, teachers are at a shortage. So a lot of the K-12 people, they're there and they want to stay there. But the ones that I was telling you were times when people weren't able to keep their teaching jobs. And so they did go other directions. I had one more, Catherine Fox is with Siemens now, the Siemens Technology. She was with Verizon for a while, because you're right, every single organization of any size has teaching, training needs for their people. And so people go one of two directions that are in this field. They either go with a corporation, or a lot of them, like I was suggesting before with the networking, they freelance. And you get to know, you get a reputation. And because even these organizations that have their own training groups, sometimes they get overwhelmed with training needs. And so then they look to, we have a corporation in the Troy area, Sandy Corporation, that is kind of like Kelly Services, where organizations will go to them to meet needs for training or, and actually when you get into this, there's so many things. There's graphic people, you maybe need people to do art for you, or you might even be doing some music to your training, like a lead in. I mean, it can be a Hollywood production, it really can. As an instructional design, or lots of times you will work as the project manager too, because you know this needs to be done before I can hand it off to the next group who's going to work on this piece. And what you work with usually as the instructional designer are subject matter experts who know the content, they know what the learning need is, and as an instructional designer, you understand instruction and how people learn, and so that's it's really as a team effort in all of this, on just depending, you know, how big this training is.
Right. No, that's awesome. That's great to hear. I just removed the screen just so we can see you, but that's awesome. That's been all of the popular questions that we've received from students. And then, but my last one is just, what is the best way to contact you? I know you mentioned texting with your phone, but what do you prefer? What's the quickest and easiest?
Well, to start off with, an email through the Saginaw system, and then I'll probably ask you to call me. But what I do is I look at classes all the time, the class list, to see how they're filling. When I see a name that I don't recognize, I don't say usually, I always will call you when there's a name out there that, and just talk with you, make sure that your questions are answered, that you're, you know, taking, when I say the right class, obviously, you're taking the right class if it's your first, second class, but yes, I will be calling you when I see your name as a new one.